Good morning from the Karen Cave. It's been a while since I did a video, but you know, that famous chili sauce is just keeping me really busy. Well, I can't say that it's famous, but it's getting around. So, and I hope you've gotten a jar of it and you've enjoyed it and you've tried it in very versatile ways. It's crazy how it is being used. I was so proud of it this past January. They used it in a fundraiser for Kids for Cooking. And this is a foundation that does supports children around the world that need food. So it made me feel really good that they used my sauce, and they did it with a lot of the sous chefs around here in the Raleigh area. It's called Cooking for Kids. And they had these chefs do a competition like the Chopped TV show. And it was amazing to see what they did with some chili sauce that I had absolutely no idea you could do it with. But look on my website, there's some of that, and on my Facebook and Instagram pages. But today I got a request for Grams. Now that Graham is my mom. And I got a request for her macaroni and cheese, which is not out of the box. Obviously everything was homemade and from scratch. So this is one of my favorite pots. This is a double boiler. So anytime I get the chance to cook in this, I'm gonna share it with you because it's such a fun little, I don't know, gadget. But I use all stainless steel pots. That's one thing that my grandfather taught my mom. And then Mom taught me is that stainless steel really holds your taste and it holds the warmth and everything. There's no coatings on stainless steel. There's none of that self-stick, you know, where it's non-stick. Don't use that, especially when you're canning. But anyhow, this double boiler is going to help us make some macaroni and cheese today. So I went ahead and filled this up, but the best thing about making macaroni and cheese is using cheese sauce made by yourself from scratch. So that's what we're doing in here. But I got a chance to use, again, one of my favorite tools. I had to unplug it because I used it this morning. This is the old Sears KitchenAid salad maker. And I hooked up my cheese grater. So take a look at me doing this right now. I'm going to show you a little video of this thing cutting up the cheese. And that's what we use in our macaroni and cheese. So we'll take that cheese and we'll grate it up and grate it up and grate it up, and then I'm going to make a rouge in here. And so the rouge then goes in here. I started with a stick of butter, or a half a stick of butter, because I'm not making the big macaroni and cheese, I'm making a smaller portion. So I'm using a half a stick of butter. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add some flour to it to make my rouge. So just, again, no measurements. Half a stick I started with, and then just put in some flour and take a whisk and whisk it up like this until you get a nice thick rouge. And what do I mean by thick? You want it so it's kind of like a paste. So this is not quite it, so I'm going to add just a dab more to it. But you see how it's kind of formed that paste around the edge? It becomes not as thick as Play-Doh and not as thick as butter, but you can see how, you see the consistency there? And that's exactly what we want. And then the next thing that we're going to do to this is add a couple cups of milk to this, and then we're going to slowly add in our cheese. So the nice thing about this pot is that when I'm adding in my cheese, it's not going to burn it from below because I've got water here, and that's creating that steam, which is creating a nice warm pot for me. So I don't have direct heat on my cheese. I have just enough steam and hot to melt that cheese. So let me go get my milk and we'll get started making this sauce. But enjoy the video and take it and make your kids some, put it in their lunch boxes. It's just a good old-fashioned recipe. So stick with me. Okay, so we got our rouge all made here. It's nice and thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add our milk to it and start mixing that rouge in. And just fill it up. I know I'm doing this all by eye. I'm not giving you any measurements, which is not helping you. But you can see how much milk I've added to cover it up and get it mixed in really well. And you might want to add some more as this heat underneath from the steam warms it up. And once your milk gets warm, this is another thing that's really wonderful about a double boiler, is that that milk will not burn either. So you keep stirring it, let it warm up a little bit, and then we're gonna use this wonderful grated cheese, as you can see. This is the cheese that I grated out of the old Sears salad maker. It's nice and fine, and what's nice about this is when it goes into this mixture, it melts really quickly. So you can actually start seeing how thick your cheese sauce is going to be. So again, we're going to let that warm up for a little bit, get the temperature up in it, and keep that steam warm below it. And once that warms up, we will start test it. It's still a little bit cool, but we'll test it out, and once it gets warm, we'll go ahead and add our cheese into it. So let's wait for that to get warm. Okay, so we've waited a couple of minutes, given our milk a little bit of time to warm up. And as you stir it on the bottom, or you feel it from the bottom up, you're gonna feel that rouge kind of starting to thicken this milk up as we start making it. So what we wanna do now is just start to add our cheese just slowly to it and mix that in and get it going to the thickness and to the taste that you actually like. So we're going to take just a little bit at a time, add some in. And again, what I really like about this cheese is that it's nice and thin from that shredder, that old-fashioned Sears salad maker that shredded it up, is that it's nice and light and it melts very quickly. So I'm actually getting to really control the thickness of my sauce. But you can see how it's starting to thicken up a little bit. Keep it from around the sides, keep stirring it really well, and then keep just adding your cheese into it until you get that cheese sauce that you just love. So again, there's nothing like a made from scratch recipe. This cheese sauce is not out of a box. It doesn't have a lot of chemicals in it. Actually, I use organic milk with this. And the cheese is organic, so we're doing good. But this is exactly how my mom used to make our mac and cheese. And then came the mac and cheese in the box that we all thought was just as good as it could be. Can I say I'm guilty of eating it? Heck yeah. We got to a faster pace of life and we just said, you know, it's easier to open up a box, but isn't it wonderful to go back and be able to make it from scratch and know how healthy it is and know what chemicals are in it, what chemicals are not in it. So I do buy this brick of cheese like this and grate it up because I've looked at the ingredients of the cheese actually that my mom used to use. She used to buy the cheese that was in the slices and she'd take one slice at a time and add it to this. So trying to make food a little bit healthier and safer to eat. So you can see how thick it is getting, and I think I've got it about to where I want. And I've turned the heat off because I've got plenty of steam below it. So you can see how thick it is. And it's almost just at a very perfect level. So I'm gonna let that just sit. And stay warm until I need to add it to my noodles. And now that the noodles are done, these are gluten-free noodles that we have made to go along with this cheese sauce. So you just take that cheese sauce and just put enough of it over it. So, see how that goes? And just mix it up. Now you can bake this if you want on a low oven. I'd say 300, 325. You can put it in a casserole dish and bake it. You can serve it just like this. You can add meat to it. You can do anything that you'd like to it, but this is just your plain old-fashioned mac and cheese. I hope you've enjoyed this simple little recipe from my mom. It's something that we grew up with, and I would say very much so even during the month of Lent. We always had macaroni and cheese and fish sticks on Friday, or some kind of fish, and naturally I hated the fish, so the macaroni and cheese went over well. And the other thing that's really special about this video to me is sharing the old-fashioned appliances, the stainless steel pots and pans, the Farberware, and the Sears salad maker. And I think the one thing that I love about this Sears salad maker is I've got the original book, and when you open it up, it's hysterical. Well, I shouldn't say it's hysterical, but it's just how it was back then. I mean, they gave you recipes, just the old-fashioned pictures, the covers real old-fashioned. That was the Sears and Roebuck that we knew in Chicago, the original Sears and Roebuck that was out in Oak Brook Center. But it's just fun to look at the different pictures and illustrations of how things were back then. But as the saying goes, if it's old, it's gold. So you can find these things on eBay. People are getting rid of them. They find them in old houses, or families are getting rid of them. This is back from the 1960s, and this has never broken. It's just like my chamber stove, that 1950s chamber stove. It's still going. Anyhow, you have a wonderful day, and I'm going to enjoy some mac and cheese from my mom. Brings back a lot of good memories. Have a super day, and we'll see you soon.